My name is Ben Elzakar. I'm an outdoor enthusiast, river rat, and gear junkie. And today we're going to take a look at a very unique riverboat. What I'm sitting on is called an inflatable canoe, specifically a SOAR inflatable canoe. Now, how does an inflatable canoe differ from a traditional canoe? And how does it compare to an inflatable kayak? Well, those are some important questions that we're going to go ahead and answer today in this in-depth gear review. I've lived in Idaho for the past 7 years, which is known for being a whitewater mecca across the world. But along with some big, well-known rivers like the Paya and Salmon, this region is also home to some smaller, more remote stretches of water, which require a nimble but still gear-capable watercraft, especially for those long, multi-night river trips. The traditional answer has usually been a heavy canoe or a lighter inflatable kayak. However, with these types of crafts, you typically need to make lots of sacrifices with what type of gear you can carry. The SOAR is a boat that bridges the gap between these smaller backwater boats and the larger river rafts. Not only do we get a tight maneuvering IK that doesn't weigh that much, we also get a large cargo hauler that can handle upwards of 1,000 pounds.
So why don't we go ahead and take a look at some of the more popular backwater boat options. And what a better craft to start off with than an inflatable kayak. This particular kayak is the Air Tandem Lynx. It's a 2-person, burly inflatable that's popular with serious adventurers and can handle just about any type of whitewater or whatever the backcountry has to offer. And then on the more traditional side, we have the good old-fashioned canoe. And as a prime example of that, we have the Supernova, a capable river runner with some serious cargo capacity. Canoes tend to be very responsive on water. They do this by having a hard shell, which gives you minimum drag on both water and rocks. However, they do this at the cost of added weight, making any portages a real chore. So what would happen if you mashed the attributes of an inflatable kayak and canoe together? Well, you would pretty much get the SOAR, the load it all, do it all, ugly duckling of the river. The particular model I'm looking at is a 14-foot Canyon, but SOAR makes lots of variants of this boat. So why don't we go ahead and get this puppy unrolled, run her through her paces, and see what makes her so special. Right off the bat, you'll notice how compact this whole setup is. We use a 3-chamber Hyperline construction, which is really rugged but still light at the same time. Along with the boat, you also get a manual, patch kit, and some accessory straps. One cool feature about this boat is the option to switch between self-bailing and watertight configurations. And some heavy-duty duct tape will work if you ever want to seal the baffles back up. For inflating, you probably want something bigger than a K100 pump. Thankfully, the seats are easy to install, and a breeze to switch between solo or tandem configuration. All in all, you can expect about 6 to 10 minutes to inflate this baby and get your seats configured. Cargo securing is an absolute breeze with this boat. Unlike an IK that has hard to reach lash points or a canoe that often needs to have cargo stored under a float bag, the SOAR has a simple and extremely effective grommet system to lash any of your cargo down. Something anyone can appreciate. Well, yeah, Ben, enough with all the details. Tell us how it's actually on the water. Well, after a year of testing with my friend Eric and lots of stretches of water in Utah and Idaho, I feel like I have a pretty good feeling for how this boat performs. To break it in, I took it on a 3-night trip on the San Rafael River in the middle of Utah. A true backcountry experience, with plenty of rain and mud along the way. For the journey, I brought 350 pounds of gear. 100 of that pounds was water alone. And of course, we had Royce at the helm. San Rafael has lots of flat water, so long days of floating were pretty tiresome on the back. This is when the SOAR's ability to switch between sitting on the seat and kneeling came in really clutch. Speaking of kneeling, this is the natural position you want to take during whitewater. The really awesome thing about the SOAR is you get both the best worlds. With most canoes, they're set up and configured for either a sit-on bench style or a kneeling style. You don't get the opportunity to have both during a single trip. And with an IK, you have one position. That's whether you like it or not. Another great option with the SOAR is to use single-bladed paddles. The traditional double-bladed paddle is less maneuverable than its single counterpart and is virtually useless in really tight areas. However, it gives you more power and comfort over those longer, flat water sections. The SOAR once again gives you the option of both. So whatever paddle style you want for the day, this boat has you covered. So now that you know how you can paddle this boat, let's talk about how it performs on the water. And on flat water, with lots of gear, it can be a little unwieldy. But provided you have a sturdy paddle arm and plan your maneuvers out, it really isn't that difficult to control. And in a tandem configuration, as long as you have a coordinated crew, it paddles like a regular canoe. And down more gnarly water, provided you're pointed downriver, there really isn't a whole lot this boat can't handle. As a matter of fact, I was a little disappointed with how little water I got on me on the main payette. And loaded with gear in a tandem configuration, the story isn't much different. I found that keeping your largest and lightest dry bag up front really helped you punch through those extra large waves. The ability of a SOAR to carry lots of cargo cannot be understated. So much so, as a captain of the fat canoe, you'll always get stuck with firewood duty. Which is alright with me, because there's no better way to make friends on the river. And perhaps, maybe that's one of the best things about the SOAR. You'll make friends taking someone down a river for the first time. Over conversation when they ask you what on earth type of boat you have. Or when you volunteer to carry all the beer for the float, because you have room to spare. This boat enables you to make your trips memorable. Not that other boats aren't capable of doing that. It's just easier in this one.
I hope this video has given you a better idea of what type of boat you want to buy. And who knows, maybe it'll be a SOAR. And if you do buy a big, blue, funky inflatable canoe, make sure you let them know this video brought you there. If you appreciate my video or found this information helpful, make sure to drop a comment and leave a like. Well, until next time, keep on rivering and keep it wild.